Hello,
Good morning. I'm Jen,
I'm Kimberly, and
and
this is
this
That
is the
Vegan Morning
Vegan
Show.
Morning Show. Happy Monday, Kimberly.
Happy Monday, Jen. How's it going?
Well, my internet's unstable, and if that happens again, we're getting the router replaced. So if I drop out at some point, I will jump on through my phone. So giving that little warning ahead of time. Uh, but anyway, hopefully you'll behave. But Kimberly, how was your weekend?
My weekend was great. I got to spend some of it with you, which is always wonderful.
Definitely.
Going to the Veg Fest in Montclair, New Jersey on Saturday was so much fun. It was probably the best time. Look at us. Look at how cute we are.
Look at
It
how
was
cute we are.
it was probably the best time I've had at a veg fest in a really long time. It was just so much fun and so many things to look at, so many friends to run into and to visit. Like we hear the photo on the left with our friends from the locals bookshop, Deborah and Suzanne, and then we brought our husbands along, so they're there with us in the photo on the right. And then, of course, the two of us there in the middle, hanging out with our friend Avi, the avocado. That's actually a really great app. The guy Vic, who's kind of in the corner there, created where you can even you can turn on in the app, you can turn on the camera of your phone and scan your fridge, and Avi will give you recipes so that you can use up the ingredients that you have in your fridge, and they're all vegan recipes that come from
Ooh.
that. Yeah, it's a really great app. And there's an AI component where you can ask Avi the avocado questions about veganism, questions about health and nutrition, and you get very, vegan friendly responses back. It's really cool.
I need this app. I wasn't even paying attention about the app. There were so many things to look at all at once, and I'm like, "Oh, a cute avocado."
Yeah.
But now I need
Yes, you do. The app is really fun, and
to get the app.
I'm trying to find it on my phone so I can remember the name, but I'll find it and then we can put it into the show notes.
Sounds good. How do we get this photo off of our
We just have to click on it again. I got you.
Oh, okay. You're
There we
you're
go.
more the tech savvy one of the two of us.
No problem. And then I went to sleep very early Saturday night. I was so exhausted from all the fun, but then I couldn't stay asleep and I woke up at like 4:30 in the morning and I was like, okay, you can go back to sleep. You'll be fine. And then I couldn't go back to sleep. So I said, let me start to create my Thanksgiving brunch menu. And so I did. And I'm very excited about it. And it should be fun. And it's a lot of new stuff that I haven't made before. I'm not going like traditional. It's not going to be like, turkey substitute and like mashed potatoes and that kind of stuff. But there will definitely be Thanksgiving elements to it.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I missed the Compassion Consortium yesterday. I've got to put these things on my calendar. So I wanted to see you again this weekend, and I thought it'd be fun to hang out there, and then I totally forgot. How
Yes,
was
I
your week?
missed you there. And I was like, "Hey, we missed I missed you there." And then you're like, "Oh my god."
No.
Yeah, I was also exhausted when we were in the car. I was like trying not to fall asleep, semi dozing because my husband was driving and it was dark early. So being dark and
Mhm.
just walking around and eating a lot of food, there was just so much food that my stomach did not have room for.
Yeah, there were so many things that I didn't get a chance to try. Good morning,
Yeah.
Richard. Thanks for being
Good
here.
morning, Richard. Happy Monday. Yeah, it's a rare thing as vegans where it's like, "Oh my god, I have unlimited
Yeah.
I have too many options."
Yep.
Usually you're lucky if you have 3.
Yeah, but we had all the options and then dessert options, and it was great.
It was great,
Um,
yeah, and so that was a lot of fun, and then yesterday we just did some chores. We were gonna go to a park, but then by the time we actually got out, because we were kinda having a very leisurely morning that ran into the afternoon, and then we're like, "Alright, let's just walk
nice.
around Beacon."
Okay.
And then
That's
Ellie
good too.
Yeah, and then my husband had the 49ers game to watch, and they won, and while he
Nice.
was watching that, I was at the Compassion Consortium, and that was really lovely, and they were honoring turkeys, and it was just always a beautiful experience. I'm so glad you connected me to it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and now here we are. We have a lot to talk about, Kimberly.
We do. Yes. Yeah. So if you are tuning in live or watching the replay and you've got thoughts on the things we're talking about, please put them in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say about all of these things.
Yes, because we have a lot to say. So you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Well, where do you want to start? Let's start with the Tom Brady thing.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, it was in the news earlier this month that Tom Brady has cloned his beloved pet who'd passed away. Cloning costs like $50,000.
Mhm.
And
And
my
maybe
immediate
5,000 if you wanna clone a horse, by the way.
wow.
50 for, like, a cat or dog, and 85 for a horse, so
Uh, so here are my thoughts. My immediate reaction was if you have $50,000 to clone your pet, like, I don't know, there's just better things to be doing with that $50,000. But also, I feel so bad for the new dog, the cloned dog, because I just wonder, like, kind of thinking about human nature and expectations. The family is so distraught over losing their dog, and I totally get that. I still get sad about Cookie, and she's been gone for more than 5 years. And I
yeah,
think about, dog Timber, who I had adopted back in the early 2000s. And, I still think about him, and I miss like all of the dogs and cats and rabbits and, other people beings that I've spent my life with. And I totally get the, like, strong desire to wish that there was some way that they could come back and be part of our lives again. I totally get that. But if we're cloning and we're using that same DNA, I feel like the expectation of people is that this dog is going to be exactly like the dog who they lost. And what happens when that dog's personality is a little bit different? Because it
yeah,
is the personalities, whether we're humans or dogs or cats or cows or horses, our personalities are not just shaped by our DNA. They're shaped by our experiences,
right,
by the things around us, by where our life starts, by where our life is and in this moment. And to like that dog who's been cloned, like how different was her start to life? And I just wonder how different that this dog who is the clone is going to be, and what does that mean for this dog? Will she be treated differently because the expectation is that she'll be exactly the same as the dog who they lost, and when she isn't, like, what does that mean for her life experience? I'm not saying that means the Brady family is going to abuse this dog, I don't mean that at all, but just, like, not connecting to her or just like an emotional distance. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too emotional about it, but also I'm so mad about like the money. Like, come on. And then there was a quote from Tom, like we're friends. I don't know the guy. There's a quote from Tom Brady in a Popular Mechanics article that I found where he said he's excited about how tech can come together and help both families losing their beloved pets while helping save endangered species. Tech saving, I don't know, like it just feels, for me, it doesn't feel good to have technology so with such a hold on, I don't know, life? I'm not
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I that piece I'm having trouble kind of, I guess, expressing how I'm feeling about it. What are your thoughts on all of this, Jen?
Well, first of all, Kimberly, you brought up a lot of great points. And to add to them, uh, yeah, first of all, the soul is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
And I feel bad that this dog is not allowed to, not that it's not being allowed to have a personality, but everyone's projecting the personality and the life of the previous dog that it's cloned from onto it. So it's not going to have like the same authentic experience as a dog who's just being accepted and loved for being the individual of that dog, right?
Mhm.
Not that they're going to not love this dog, but it's already it's because it reminds them of their beloved pet. And I've lost pets too, and it is sad and heartbreaking when you lose your pet. It's you go through grief like you would go through grief losing, a human loved one, and it's really terrible. But I feel like it's important to like honor that pet and that pet's life, and then create space for someone new to have a life with you, because there's a lot of pets, there's a lot of animals, and we've talked about this before in the shelter system. And we talked a
Mhm.
couple months ago, or I know it was, I think, still towards the end of the summer, when we were talking about that family that went for a breeder
Mhm.
to get a dog instead of adopting. And $50,000 could do a lot for an animal shelter.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like, I feel like if I had that kind of money to either clone, if I was like, you know what, I'm either going to clone a pet, or here's 50 grand. I'm going to, I could give 1,000, I could divvy it up like 10,000 to 5 different animal shelters. Right. And then adopt a pet or something. Like, that's what I would do if I had that kind
Yeah.
of
And
money.
like if your ego's so big, right? Like not yours, but I mean the general you, if your ego is so big, donate the $50,000 to a shelter and say, "Hey, put my name on a door somewhere. Put my name on
Right.
a wing," you know?
Right, exactly. Or name a section of something.
Yeah.
Right? But like, yeah, and so there's just so many animals out there that need help, that need love, and I feel like, you know, honor the pet's life for that pet, and start new and create new memories with somebody new, and create space for that. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, those are some additional thoughts that I have to what you had said on that topic.
Yeah. No, that's great, and I thank you for the reminder to everyone about those animals in shelters who need homes. And, maybe instead of, yeah, cloning, we go swing by a shelter and find someone new to bring into our lives.
Yeah, because imagine how happy, even if you put that 50,000 to that one shelter, you go adopt a pet, maybe find, if maybe if it's a particular look of a dog that you want, find one that's similar to that dog. And or if there's a specific breed, a lot of these shelters have breeds,
Mhm.
or mixes, but that I'm sure you could find a pet similar to the one, if it that means so much to you,
Right.
and just adopt,
Mhm.
and help, bring a lot of love and joy to those animals and those systems, because they
Yeah,
deserve it too.
they do.
I was just thinking about when I adopted my cat Minora, uh 14 years ago in December, and just seeing all the little sad faces, and
Mhm.
I wanted to take them all home.
Yeah.
But my son, who was young at the time, he was, I guess, 6, yes. Uh, he went in there and he was like, "I want this one." So he made the choice easy for me.
Yeah.
"I want this one." Okay, because I could have taken like, 30 of them.
Right.
Oh man. Are you ready to pivot to our other story?
Yeah.
Prince William.
Yeah. Yeah, so Go ahead, you do this one.
Okay, so Prince William, he's part of something called the Earthshot Prize that was founded in 2020, and it's one of the world's most high profited environmental uh I can't read my last word now. They're an organization. Oh, awards, that's what it is. I was like, "What word is that?" You ever write things down and you're like, "What did
Oh,
I?"
all the time.
It's an
Yep.
environmental award. And so they offer millions in funding to innovators tackling issues like climate change, pollution, biodiversity loss across 5 different categories. And so, they want to build a waste-free world. And so this is a really amazing organization I didn't even know about
Yeah,
until the
same.
reason why they became in the news recently in the vegan world is because it was happening in Brazil, and Prince William wanted the menu to be vegan because, as we all know, uh, vegan, the animal agriculture provides contributes a lot to the climate crisis on our
Yeah.
planet, and just a lot of environmental issues in general, polluting water, polluting air. Um, so he thought it would make sense to have a vegan menu.
Mhm.
And the Brazilian chef was really upset about this and felt like culture wasn't being respected because he wanted to serve a fish from the Amazon River that is traditional, that they used to not be able to serve. They're not be because they're at one point the species was in danger, and now you can, eat it again. And so, from what I understand, he did continue. I was trying to find articles post the event, and I was having
Mhm.
trouble finding them. It was just kind of like all about the complaints of the chef. Um, from what I understand, he did stick around to do it, but he didn't want to do it again after. And so I have a few different thoughts on this. First of all, I saw another quote and I forgot who said that. It's like, that's like serving cigarettes at like an event about cancer, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You're not going to give people cigarettes. You're right. If it's an event that's, trying to help people get well from cancer, right?
Right.
So, so it made sense having a menu matching what this event is about and providing more insight and education on our food system and the contributions that it makes to the issues we have on this planet. Well, at least the environmental issues. There's a lot of other issues that food can't save, but
Yeah.
that's a whole other show. But um, but the thing is, like, also, like, if you're a chef and you're a really good chef, you would I would think you can make food out of anything, right?
I would think
And
so.
and the chef even, talked about how they live off the land and they live off the forest, which also has a lot of fruits and, other types of, plant foods. Great. So you can still honor your culture
Mhm.
serving plant-based dishes. So feeling like it was a slap against his culture. I mean, that fish isn't the only food that is, served in Brazilian dishes. So I feel like, we've talked about this before, like with holidays and religion, people have a lot of memories and traditions tied in with food, but there's
Mhm.
still ways that you can honor your culture through plant-based foods. And
Yeah.
especially now with all the different um you know plant-based meat products out there, if meat is an important component to something, you can easily replace it because what gives the meat and fish the flavor is the sauces and the seasonings. So
Right.
really, I feel like you can still have those memories and traditions honored because you're still having the essence of that dish, those components with it, And so, yeah, there's ways you can honor culture and traditions and religions through other plant-based means. So those are my thoughts on that. Kimberly, I'd love to hear yours.
Yeah, my first thought was, if you like about the chef, it was kind of like, okay, if you are not actually creative in the kitchen, like just tell us that. Because I I agree with you that if you are a trained chef, you should be able to, you know, understand the parameters of what the people that you're looking to feed are asking for, and then know how to create something. And I'm not a chef. I love cooking. I love I've fantasized about being a chef because I love feeding people. And to me, that's the biggest part of it. Like the creating and the cooking in the kitchen, that's for me because I can get lost in it and I can just be so focused. It's a way to like clear my mind. It's like meditative. But
Mhm.
what I create then is not for me. What I create is for the people that I'm feeding. And I want people to feel excited about the food that they're going to eat, and I want it to be something that they're interested in. And so that doesn't mean, of course, like I've got rules. Obviously, we're not having any animal products when I'm cooking anything. So even if somebody wants that, I'm not honoring that. But when you are a chef being hired for something, like you have the opportunity to say, I don't want to do that and not take on the job.
Right.
It's not like they came to his restaurant and were like, "Change your whole menu." He was catering an event. I think that's different, and I think that even if someone does come to your restaurant and you're willing to take it on, then you take it on and you provide what's been agreed upon. And I know, like you were saying, like food is so tied into culture and emotions and holidays and religion, and so I also understand why he felt like my culture is being disrespected. This fish had been almost extinct and we had to stop eating it, and it was always a part of our food, and now it's not. We've brought it back, and so let's celebrate that by consuming their bodies, which to us sounds absurd.
Right.
To him, he really sees that as this is how I'm celebrating the return of this food item, because that's all these fish are to him, this food item that represents my culture. And so I think in that way, it's a lot about education and helping people see a different perspective. And the people who are very connected to food in that way can be pretty resistant. We know that, right? They don't
Yeah.
want to give up what they feel is their right to eat something. And we have to shift their perspective. And I hope that this chef, even if he was ultimately not excited about what he provided and is glad that it's over and he's able to move on from it, I hope that one day he sits and thinks about these fish and is open to seeing another perspective. Maybe this moment was the very first seed being planted. Somebody will say something to him later on, or he'll see something a year from now, like and it will start to kind of come through. We never know. But yeah, that's my thought, I guess. Like let's just be open to being a bit more creative.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. And there that's such a big opportunity too, because this is an event that is, being organized by Prince William and his team.
Yeah.
What an amazing opportunity to create something so creative and
Mhm.
amazing
Right.
that people are talking about. This non-vegan chef threw together this amazing vegan meal that people can't stop talking about, right? Like there's
Mhm.
always another opportunity
Yeah.
in all of this.
Yeah.
Um, Yes. So oh my God. Well, this episode is going to go a little over.
Yeah, wow.
So we could do a quick nod to Jeff Goldblum, I think. We don't have to go too deeply into that. But yeah, he recently, last week, it was announced everywhere that after filming Wicked, he's going vegetarian because
Mhm.
there is animal cruelty depicted in there. And it made him realize, about what goes on in the food system. And he thought about animals differently, and it like planted a seed to where, now he's trying out being vegetarian. And that's a great big stepping stone. And usually you hear celebrities talking about going vegetarian or vegan for like diet stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that he's made that connection and talking about it openly now.
Mhm.
So what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on Jeff Goldblum?
That was my thought too. I hope that he finds his way to veganism, and Cynthia, his co-star, can probably help him with that. And but yeah, it is nice to hear him talking about the animal piece being the motivation for him, because yeah, like, people will be like, oh, Beyonce's vegan. Like, no, before a tour, Beyonce eats a plant-based diet to fuel herself so she can dance for hours on stage and to drop whatever weight her team has decided she needs to drop. She is not vegan. But these messages that Jeff has received by being part of that movie, and hopefully other people who go see it will receive these messages, is around the level of cruelty that we subject animals to on a daily basis. And I really appreciate that he is highlighting that. And I found it also endearing that you can tell that he's new to it and he wants to do it, and he hasn't figured it all out. Because I
Yeah.
think even in an interview where they were talking about the holidays coming up, and he's like, I think I'll probably be having something different. Like he's not quite sure what that is or what it looks like, and not even like openly committing to it, but where he is saying like his motivation, and it is from the animal perspective. It will make it easier to navigate the holidays coming at it from that perspective, and I'm very excited to see how this movie, and even just him coming out and talking about this, opens some people's eyes, shifts their perspective, and hopefully we see some new vegans coming out of all of this.
Yeah, I hope so, because now people are thinking about this when they go see part 2, and they're going to be thinking about thinking about what it is on their plate, right? Because there's that
Mhm.
cognitive dissonance. So I'm hoping this is a way to help break through that barrier. And so yeah, and I appreciate his honesty about it. And look, we were all there at one point, right? We were like,
Yeah.
how do I do this?
Yep.
I don't want to eat the animals anymore, but I don't know what to do.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, he'll figure it out.
He will figure it
Yeah.
out. And with that, are you ready to go back into our other explosive topic?
Yes. Yes. How about you kick this one off?
Yeah, so I won't go to the source um to respect privacy, but I
Mhm.
heard of a situation where a parent of an adult child said that they were making them food that's like baked goods with like egg in it,
Hmm.
uh and telling their adult child that it was vegan. And the reason for doing that was that this parent feared their child wasn't getting enough protein otherwise. And so after hearing about this situation, I was horrified.
Mhm.
And I had to like call you immediately
Yeah.
and you were horrified with me.
Yes.
And I also had looked it up on Reddit. And apparently, this has happened. And I'm not surprised, but I haven't really
Mhm.
thought about it. And I guess because, like, the people who have made food for me, I trust. I hope I can trust them. If any of you are
Mhm.
watching,
Right.
I hope I could trust you. No, I trust them, and I know that they wouldn't do that to me. But like, thinking about the different kinds of people you encounter who are very combative about veganism or just uneducated about veganism, and just also thinking about like how parents can be of adult kids. It's kind of like even though your child's an adult, there can still be this attitude of, oh, I know better than them.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so it made me think about like, it's amazing how there's still these misconceptions about protein and nutrition and how
Mhm.
you can get all this from plants. And so it created a lot of things. And I felt like it was really important to talk about, especially before the holidays,
Mhm.
because I would be horrified if I found out I was served something that wasn't vegan and was told that it was. So
Yeah.
those are some of my thoughts on all of that. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on this, Kimberly?
I too am horrified, and especially in the scenario that this is an adult whose parent is doing this to them.
Right.
When your child is growing and they have made this choice and you are in control of their food, it's still wrong. But if you don't understand nutrition, if you're not going to make the effort now that your child has said, this is really important to me, I need to live my life differently than I have before. I want to eat different food and I want to buy different products, don't want to wear leather shoes anymore, all of the stuff. If you don't respect your child enough to take some time and learn, like, you can go to the library, you don't have to buy books, you don't need to take a course, like, you can get free. I mean, there's the internet exists, right? You can get free information so you can understand how to help your child be healthy. So even in the scenario when your child is young and you are in control of what they eat, it is so important that you have enough respect for your child that you will learn so that you can understand how to nourish them so that you feel comfortable with what they are eating. Now, from when you're an adult, like, I mean, I don't even know what to do with that information that you've decided that your adult child is doesn't know how to care for themselves, that you need to put animal products in food that you're serving them, and then you lie to them, you tell them it's vegan. Like, I mean, even if you're telling yourself this is coming from a kind place, from a I'm just concerned about you, it is absolutely not. Like, it is coming from a place of control. It is coming from
Mhm.
a place of, you like you said, you know better. And what harm, and I don't just mean on the vegan who has consumed animal products and like the emotional and mental toll that takes, what harm you are doing to your relationship with that child. Because the minute they find out, they can't trust you. And like, what does that mean for, I mean, you see how many people online, you could just Google it, like kids who go no contact with their parents. This is why. Situations like this is why you should be able to trust your parent, and they shouldn't be
Yeah.
putting you in a situation where you can't feel safe with them, and that's exactly what that's doing. And then, there's another perspective where some people really are just angry about vegans and they want to be malicious about it. There were definitely people in
Yeah.
my life when I was vegetarian who, like, if they had had the chance to sneak some meat into something I was eating, they would have done it, and they would have thought it was hilarious, and they would have loved to see how upset I was. Those people are not in my life anymore because they're shitty fucking people. And when you find out that your parent is one of those, I don't even know, like, how do you process that? How do you deal with that? Um,
Yeah, everything you just said, and it's such a violation of trust, right? And it's like,
yeah,
if you can't trust your parent with that, what other areas can you not
yeah,
trust that parent with? And I feel like there's a different way to handle it. If someone's a parent that's concerned about their child's nutrition, ask your
yes,
child, how are you meeting your protein
right,
requirements? I'm concerned about this. How are you doing it?
yeah,
The internet has existed for like what, like 30 years? Pretty much.
yeah,
I think we got AOL 30 years ago, 29 years ago, something like
right,
that, with a whiny modem, right? We've had
yeah,
and we have very advanced internet now. So you could go to nutritionfacts.org. You can go, look up about the China study, right, about nutrition. You can
hmm
go, to Forks Over Knives. You can just Google, how do vegans get their protein? There's so many resources out there. I can't list them all.
yeah,
But if, I just could not do that with my son. If there was something that was important to him,
hmm
like, you know, like express your concerns,
yeah,
but you don't have to, and it's again, and now there are children who are raised as vegans more and more.
hmm
I am, we're coming across this when we did the Main Street Vegan Academy. We got to hear some talk about their experiences growing up vegan and never
hmm
consuming an animal product, right? And so, and they're fine.
right,
They're healthy. They're not nutrient deficient,
right,
right? So,
hmm
yeah, and I get it. Again, if you're if even if it's a younger child, like honor that for them. And I think part of it's also the cognitive dissonance, right? Not realizing, you know, how when you're vegan, when you're vegan for the veganism really is, right? For
hmm
the animals. Um there's so much there for that person to not eat that. It's not just some phase. It's not someone being picky. I think
right,
some people think of me that way. Some family members think that I'm, being too much or being too picky.
mm,
And okay, that's okay. um, you know, but yeah, I think there's just a lot of misconceptions about it. And so yeah, and I don't even know, like, I guess going into the holidays, I just want to say to any vegans watching, I mean, I hope you can trust your family and friends who are providing food. But if you feel a little like, could this person
hmm
do that to me? Maybe you think about, I don't know, maybe check around the garbage or, or watch the, go to Reddit and see how, people have handled these situations. But yeah, I think I want to just throw it out there to any of your viewers. You can let us know in the comments of the replay. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever been
yeah,
told you were served something vegan and then you found out later that you were lied to? And, how did you react? How did you respond to that situation? Um, I know I would love to hear about it. It might help other viewers
yeah, for sure,
hearing about your story. So yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Anything you want to
yeah.
add, Kimberly?
Yeah, I think, if you have the opportunity, if there is someone who has offered to provide you a vegan option while you're at their home for a holiday and you're not comfortable, maybe find out if you can help them with it. You'd be like, I'd really love to help you. I know you've got, you're making food for however many other people are coming, and I'd love to be able to help you with this. Can I hang around in the kitchen with you or help you make the vegan item? And then you can, um, you'll be aware, you'll know what's going into it. And, if they go to include something not vegan, you can stop them. Like, hey, by the way, this actually isn't vegan. You need to use, and mention a vegan product instead. And it might be, I would hope, excuse me, I would hope it's just a matter of education. They didn't
Yeah.
know, they don't understand that vegan doesn't include eggs or, something like that.
Or
But,
honey or
right. Yeah. And so maybe you can educate them. But if it is this idea that they think they're helping you because, it's not healthy and they need to help you make sure that you're getting what you need. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, see if you can be part of the making of the food or bringing your own food. Um, and try to have a conversation. If you feel like someone is being inauthentic in the way that they're approaching your veganism, or that they seem like, oh yeah, of course, like it just seems something is off about them, see if you can have a conversation and just reiterate how important it is to you that you live this the way that you are.
100%. And you know what? You could even always frame it as, you know what? I know you're gonna be really busy. I don't want you to go through all that trouble. I'm happy to make
Mhm.
some vegan dishes that I can share with everyone and don't
Yeah.
stress out, don't worry about it. Like I feel like I would do that if I was not sure if someone and sometimes people can do these things unintentionally because they think vegetarian and vegan is the same thing, and they don't
Mhm.
realize that vegetarians will eat, eggs and dairy and honey, and sometimes they're pescatarian, right? So, um, like fish sauce could go into a dish, right, for
Right.
certain types of, cuisine. So, yeah, I think those were really good tips that you brought up, Kimberly. And
Thanks.
yeah.
I want to say one more thing. Don't be afraid to cut people out of your life. If you know that this person who has been if you find out someone's been feeding you animal products, despite them knowing that you are vegan, them telling you that it's vegan, and you approach them and their reaction is not, I am really sorry, I was wrong, I won't do it again. I totally understand if you don't ever want to eat food that I have made that you have not seen me prepare. If that is not their approach, like, so often we're told like, well, this is your family and you've got to always stick with your family. No, you don't. If someone is actively hurting you and you can choose to not be part of that, choose that. It's hard, but care for yourself enough. If that's the decision that you feel comfortable making or you decide to make that decision. Like, I don't ever want someone to feel like if they are in a position where they can remove themselves from a situation, from a relationship that is harming them, then they should do that. And they should feel empowered to do it and know that they will find others who will hold them up and support them and would never, ever treat them that way.
Yeah, because for me, it's also what that would represent, right? It
Mhm.
goes beyond the meal,
Yeah,
right?
right.
It
Yeah.
goes into a lot of other complicated traumatic layers for me that I probably need some therapy around. Um, but with that, yeah, wow, we had a lot to say.
We did. Who knew? Who knew the news stories would
We
take so
always
much
have a lot
time?
to say, but like these were like this was like that week where it's like we kept finding things. Like last week
Yeah.
when we were preparing for this
Mhm.
day, and then we had the news stories, and then it was like I heard about this situation, and then
It's like, we'll just do it all. And we
we'll
got
just
it
do it
in
all.
under 45 minutes.
Go us.
Yeah.
Well, with that, is there anything you want to tease for the week?
Yes, I would love to. Today's podcast episode of Did You Bring the Hummus is out now with Chef Tara Punzone and writer Jean Stone. Tara's book, Vegana Italiana, is out and available for purchase and is amazing. I will be sharing some photos and video of some food that I made from that book, but they are both really lovely. And the podcast is a really good time. So please tune in. It's available wherever you get your pods. Did You Bring the Hummus is there. How about you, Jen?
First of all, that sounds amazing. See, you can have amazing Italian food and you don't need animal products.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put up later today the reel from our Veg Fest adventures showing some of the
Mm-hmm.
food we ate and saw. And so I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm going to do a video. I was going to originally do a cooking video for YouTube, and I just been too stretched for things. And so I am going to do a video for YouTube that I'm going to post on Wednesday. Kind of like, I haven't done these in a while where it's just me talking, catching up people with just various things I've been up to. I've been talking about doing those for a while. So I'm going to do that for Wednesday. And then I'm going to take a break from YouTube for a bit because I really want to play around with TikTok and do more Instagram reels and do more short form recipe, because I feel like long form cooking just takes longer, but I want to do something. I want to start playing around with reels, and I figure the holiday is a good way to do that. So yeah, one more confident vegan on YouTube will go up this week, and then I'm going to take a little break, set that down till January. But I do have interviews that I am scheduling that I'll be having for January. So that's pretty much what's going on with me. Oh, and I just want to say, you did a meditation for Blue Barn. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
It was Thursday, right? Was that when that was?
Yeah.
Thursday. Yeah, last Thursday. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that. That was very lovely.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you all on Monday. Have an amazing week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.